your secretary. She did a great job.
Well, there she is.
Call the meeting order. Want to welcome all visitors and guests if they're in. I hope everybody had a great weekend. Candace, you should have a quorum present. Pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval June 3rd, 24 minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Approval of July 2nd, 24 meeting. Minutes.
I move to approve. Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor? Any opposed? Approved. Approval of August 5th, 24 board agenda. Do have a amendment to that agenda to add school time change discussion. We'll go on the discussion item.
It is.
Yes, sir.
I'll make a motion to adopt what we do
Second.
No change.
with the change.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Introduction of Miss Reese, Prospect Jones Senior High School.
Board members, at this time, I'm very honored to have a special guest in the room today. It's where her educational journey all began. She's an alumni of Pollocksville Elementary School, and now she has the opportunity to lead Jones Senior High School. So at this time, Miss Pammy Reese, if you'd like to say a few words.
Good evening, everyone. Hi, I am Pammy Reese, and it is my pleasure and privilege to return home to serve the students and community here in Jones County. I'm so excited for an awesome school year. And I'd love to come up and shake your hands as just a way of me just getting very up close and personal, because I do strive to be open and receiving of any and all conversation and things you may have.
It's a pleasure. Hi.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
Thanks for putting it with me already.
It's been my pleasure. It's been my pleasure.
I'm glad you're here, Pam.
It feels good to be home.
Yes, ma'am.
We need to add one more, we need to add an action item, the child nutrition bid to the board agenda.
I'll make a motion to amend the agenda again for whatever we need to do.
I'll second that amendment, whatever, what she
Add
says.
child nutrition.
For what she said, make sure you get all that precisely, Candace. We're so dead on about things.
That'd be D, right?
You got it.
Thank you.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. All right, discussion item A, mascot information presentation, Ms. Donna Higgs, Comfort Elementary.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Thank you for letting me come and share some information with you. So the last few years since I've been principal at Comfort, there's just been discussion among the staff. So I guess Mr. Noble and I had the same idea. So if you look back at the mascots, you had the Trenton Trojans, the Maysville Mustangs, and Pottsville Panthers, and then there was Comfort Bears. So us being elementary-minded people, just thinking about the alliteration of it, we were kind of the odd man out. So we started thinking about what we could maybe, if it was okay with stakeholders, change our mascot to. So we put a survey out, and we did it on Thrill Shares, it was on text, and then on social media for anyone to vote for the mascot. So we did two options, Comfort Cubs or Comfort Bears. We only had 26 people respond, so 63% wanted to be the Comfort Cubs, with 37% being Comfort Bears. So also, 3 of our 5 schools had the color blue as their school colors. So you got Trenton, Jones Senior, and Maysville. So we were also blue. So the color blue that we had was a peacock blue. It was hard to find anything that color. Mr. Parker and I were going back and forth for the end of year celebration, trying to find balloons to match. So it was just difficult. So we put out that in the survey as well. So we had, with the 26 people responded, we had 8 to choose purple and black, and we had 8 to choose purple and white. Then some others, we put out orange and white, yellow and white, green and white, just different options, anything but blue. So since we had 8 for purple and white and 8 for purple and black, we just kind of talked and said we could do purple, black, and white, and just kind of appease everybody. So our plan right now is to do a black bear, since that is, we find black bears around Jones County, and just have accent colors of purple and white, if that's okay with everybody, I guess. So that's, we only had 26 people respond, but those were our numbers. So we had, like I said, 8 to choose purple and white, and then 8 to choose purple and black.
So you're gonna be Cubs or Bears?
Yeah, are you gonna be the Bear Cubs or just the Cubs?
Just the Cubs.
Why not be the Bear Cubs?
Well, we could be the Bear Cubs.
I'm just asking, get 3 colors.
That's what I'm saying. So we discussed, we've contacted Vendor Signs, and they're gonna work on a mascot for us, and that'll be copyrighted for us to use in any way we want to use it. Any questions? Yes, sir. Yes, Mr. Wilson.
You had 26 respondees. Keep in mind now, no matter what your decision is, you will have more than 26 after you make it. Yeah. With me?
Well.
I just want you prepared for that. No, good job. Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We don't have a vote.
Well, Donna and I didn't have the same idea, but it did happen about the same time. So good afternoon, board members. Thank you for the opportunity to share information with you this afternoon. Since becoming the principal of Trenton Elementary School, I've also had lots of conversations with parents and stakeholders regarding the mascot. And many felt like we needed to have a unique mascot so that we had our unique identity, even though we share the same environment. To ensure that all stakeholders had an opportunity to share their opinions, we created a survey as well. And that survey was shared over ThrillShare as well as through our social media platforms. So we had a grand total of 84 respondents, which I'm very, very thankful for. Our parents were very involved, stakeholders and alumni were very involved. And if you look in your data sheet, you'll see that the overwhelming majority, 81%, preferred that we revert back to the historic mascot of the Gator. And so I'm here tonight to ask for your support to move forward with that. And I'll be happy to answer any questions. The Gator automatically goes very, very well with our color scheme in the building. So we are kind of blue and white, but a little bit of green, and our carpet and our painting on the elementary wing is there. So it would be a seamless transition, just adding a few things here and there to make it unique and have that Gator across the board. We'd also like to consider maybe some t-shirts and some other things for staff so that they have that unique identification and branding. Does anybody have any questions?
So you're looking to add a little green to the blue and white?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Appreciate the effort. This is as thick as an insurance bid.
I want to make sure you had all the data.
Very
Green,
thorough. Thank you, both of y'all.
white,
Thank you.
blue. Okay.
Appreciate
Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
it. Yes,
Noel.
sir.
Chauncey High School football update. Mr. Perry. Coach Perry.
Coach Perry, you're in every time.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Board, I'm going to hand you all, this is our freshly off the press game schedule. First of all, I want to thank everybody who was involved in the process of allowing me the opportunity to become the next head football coach at Jones Senior High School. It's an honor and I'm really excited about what's about to happen starting with the beginning of the season. First of all, I want to kind of clue you in on the energy and what's going on with the players and the player mindsets. Those who've been around have known that the program has struggled over the last several years. That's not unknown. However, I can assure you, and if you don't believe me, I invite you to come out to our practices. The energy and our key word is buy-in. The buy-in with the players is there this year. The intensity that they're bringing to the field, not only for when we had our 7-on-7, which I'll discuss in a minute, but our practices. Things that I have not seen on this practice field or game field in the 5 years I've been a part of the program. So I'm very excited that the players are buying in and that they're bringing the energy and intensity to the practice field and getting ready for a game field. I want to thank everybody who has supported us. And by this, the businesses and individuals, we have rolled out our new supporter signs, which thank you, board members who have purchased one and principals and others. We still do have more, but these are our 2024 Jones Senior Football Program supporter signs. They come with the yard stake. You get to put it in your yard. But the biggest thing is this is helping to support the football program financially to help offset costs for the general athletic fund. Also to allow for players to go to camps and things like that, have offers and be able to extend things that they probably normally wouldn't be able to offer them, as well as helping with game meals pre and post game. A couple of people I do want to kind of bring to the limelight. Charles Banks, who is a graduate of Jones Senior High School, Jones Senior product, very proud of that. He donated with his trucking company, he donated 2 loads of sand to the program to be able to help in our process of repairing and improving the quality of our football field, the game field. I want to thank Maharan, who not only they purchased a sign from us, they also helped us with the cost of fertilizer, seed, and things like that, as well as Trenton Fire Department, who has been helping us. We're kind of in an issue right now with our ice machine in the gym, so they've been kind enough to let us get ice from them before practices. So I really want to thank them as well. The community buy-in, and what this all ties into is the community buy-in. We had a community meeting a couple months ago. Some of you are aware, some of you may or may not have been there for it. We had a turnout of roughly 30 folks come out. And that was community members, family, players, things like that, to get an understanding of my site and my vision going into this season, and understanding that it's not only am I asking the community to be a part of us, but I'm planning to interject the football program into the community. Whether that be helping with events like the Trenton Volunteer Fire Department auction, whether that be the Heritage Festival, different events, cleanups, whatever the case may be, but I'm striving to bring the community aspect back to Jones Senior football. We've had things like interviews with News Sports, which I believe was a really good interview, really good discussion. We have a media day slated this coming up Friday where I'm bringing a couple seniors with me to Pamco High School to meet with media to talk about that upcoming season. Moving on to other positives, we had our 7-on-7 last week. For those who are familiar with it, if you're not, all it is a passing league. And it gives us opportunity to kind of pit ourselves against another school and to discuss and look at where we stand. In my eyes, it was a victory. It was a win. We scored 5 times and they only scored once out of 4 drives. So our defense stood up big and our offense scored. And ultimately, that's what wins games. Our game schedule, which I just handed out to you, I'm very excited about. Not only do we have our 9-game schedule, 4 of those are home games. Still hoping to get one more, but it is what it is. Each home game, we're incorporating a theme. And by theme, I don't just mean wear a certain color or a theme. It's going to be full-blown activities, things going on to help drive the community to want to come out. As you can see, the first home game, which is this coming up August 23rd, it's going to be our Ag Night. And discussing with Ms. Mary Murphy and Mr. John Taylor, the Jones Senior FFA is going to assist with that. They're bringing out some businesses. We're even going to allow for locals, students, families, farms to bring out tractors and combines and park them so that kids and other community members can kind of get involved and see the equipment. September 13th, we're very excited about having our military appreciation game. I just got a phone call from Cherry Point, United States Marine Corps Air Base. They are bringing out folks to help with the color guard and to do the national anthem for us, as well as I've reached out to recruiters, and they're going to have tables and stuff like that to help bring awareness and stuff like that for military appreciation. We'll also recognize any active duty, retired, or veteran military of the game as well. October 10th is going to be our breast cancer awareness, or as we're calling it, our breast cancer warrior night. And we've teamed up with Ms. Adana Morel to work with HOSA about presenting that night for us. And then our last home game is going to be October 25th against Community Christian. It's going to be our homecoming and senior night combined. Most people have had really good reception to the idea of having a homecoming and senior night in one night. My aspect of it is, senior night, everything happens at the beginning of the game before. Homecoming events happen in the middle. So this is a way for, if you've got a senior family maybe is out of town, and instead of trying to figure out which game, maybe they're struggling to get to both, this offers opportunity for them to be present for both games. With that being said, along with our events, things happening, we are going to be offering barbecue plate sales at the games as well. We're going to be doing barbecue chicken quarters with sides, and we plan on selling those at the game actively. There's been some feedback about food offerings and stuff like that in the past. So this is going to give an opportunity for a little bit better quality food, and the money goes back into the football and athletics program. Bottom line, and this is my end goal and vision, it's all about the buy-in with the community, the players, families. Friday night is going to be the place to be in Jones County. We have 4 home games laid out, and I'm trying to get to the point where the stands are as packed as they can. I'm excited, the players are excited, and when I don't have to try and get the players excited, that's when I know things are on the right track. The players are as excited, if not more so, than I am. Coach and staff has talked, and we have very high expectations for our first home game. So August 23rd, I invite anybody and everybody to be there. So,
That's great.
anybody have any questions, comments, concerns?
Game time.
Game time is 7 p.m. Sorry, I meant to put that on the flyer. The only game that we're not playing at 7 o'clock is our last away game. Unfortunately, that got rescheduled. It's on a Tuesday, and it's away. It's one of our longer away games, so we're going to play that at 4:30 to be able to subside us being out extremely late on the school night.
Will you be doing any of the tailgating for the homecoming?
That's the plan. We're kind of in limbo right now, trying to figure out who's going to be the coordinator for all that. Historically, it's been Ms. Hines, but with her new role not being at the high school, I'm unsure of how that's going to work out. But we do anticipate still doing that. I'm already in discussions with Ms. Reese. I guess she left me. But I've already in discussions with Ms. Reese, and we're looking at, as far as a pep rally beforehand, looking at logistics and stuff. But we do plan on still holding the annual tailgating on the practice field.
Awesome. How many athletes do you have?
So as of now, we have 20, which, in past discussions, when you talk about the comparison of 11-man to 8-man, if we were to still play 11-man, that would not be a great number. We would be able to field both sides of the ball. With 8-man, it's given us opportunity to have, right now what we're looking at is a true starting offense and a true starting defense, with only 3 to 4 possibly playing both ways. So this is going to be a great opportunity for those athletes. At the same time, I know that we have roughly 3 to 5 that are still out of state, out of town for family vacations, whatever the case may be, as well as those who've been in athletic program in Jones County. We typically don't get all of our players until about the first or second week of school being started due to ride issues or knowledge of the program, whatever the case may be.
How's the class breakdown for the athletes?
So sophomores are our largest class right now. We have, if I was to give rough percentages, I would say 10% senior, 5 to 7% junior, 25 to 30 is sophomore, and the rest, we don't really have that many freshmen, so maybe it increased. But sophomores are our largest class, probably followed by seniors and juniors, with a couple of freshmen trickled in.
Are all of these students, or are some of them homeschooled?
We do have 2 homeschool that I'm aware
Two
of.
homeschooled? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I'm excited. Thank you for all you're doing.
Hey, it's about school, it's about community, about football program, and that's what we're trying to make it to be.
Well, what I'm hearing out in the community, you're doing a fantastic job. It's all been positive. We really appreciate it.
I appreciate it. I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you guys, and I appreciate everything. Like I said, look forward to seeing everybody August 23rd. Thanks.
Don't mess it up.
No pressure from there.
You gonna be there, right?
I've already been
We already got them a booster seat. So.
I bet.
That's good. Oh my Lord.
A Trojan booster, not necessarily the one to make it taller.
Yeah, Billy said you need, as a fan, a booster.
Oh.
Not, yeah.
Wendy's got it. I think Wendy's got it.
No, I got it right out the gate. I got it right. Just minding my business over.
Miss Gravy.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. I have to present to you for discussion, our budget amendment number 10 from fiscal year 2024. So at the last meeting, the June 3rd meeting, the board approved delegating authority to the superintendent to approve any necessary fund adjustments for fiscal year 2024 because we didn't have a board meeting in July. So on June 27th, the superintendent approved budget amendment number 10. And this budget amendment totaled a net increase of $22,373 to the prior budget that had been approved by the board. Those adjustments included an increase in state funding for a number of PRCs. The state had some funding that they needed to have spent by the end of the year, and so they made various small allocations to all of the LEAs. And so we were able to receive about $21,000 in additional funding that we were able to spend before the end of the year. And then in our federal funding, there were two adjustments to PRCs in federal funding, which netted to an increase of $785. So those two adjustments combined created the budget amendment number 10 that you see before. If anyone has any questions, I'll be happy to answer this time.
Mr. Lawson, any question?
No, thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Griffin? No. Ms. Young?
No,
Ms. Gravy?
no.
That 785, that was coming from another fund.
We received additional funding in our Title I funding, and then we received a decrease in another funding, so it netted to $785.
So we didn't have to move any money around in our budget.
No, sir, no, sir.
Move to approve. If we gotta do that. Don't, that's what you want.
No,
or not?
sir,
No.
you gave authority
You
for
gave
the
authority.
Okay, so
superintendent.
we don't have to
She was just
go
letting.
behind it and approve it?
No, sir.
Well, good. We didn't want to do that.
We need to know what it was.
Yeah.
And we really need to know what it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Department updates.
Thank you to those who are in attendance. Thank you to those of you who are at home. Many folks in the summer are very, very busy. Coach Perry obviously is one of them. Coach Perry, I appreciate all that you're doing, not only for our football team, but for the communities. Okay. As far as department folks go, I do want to compliment the technology department. They're doing all the tech updates and getting devices prepared for every student as we begin the school year. That's a very, very comprehensive job. It's a 3-person team with Kevin, Jeffrey, and Victor. And if you have a chance to see them, please just give them a pat on the back because it's a very unappreciated job at times. The second person I want to make sure, we're aware of what they're doing is the Director of Educational Programs, Janelle Enstrom. This is her busy season as she's applying for title funding for our school district. That funding will be submitted that grant application will be submitted within the next couple of weeks. We'll receive our allotment by the end of the month, and in the September board meeting, she'll present that to you. But those dollars are very, very significant to our county. And finally, Ms. Susan Brown, she submitted all testing data, the preliminary testing data to the state of North Carolina. We're anticipating good things. The preliminary growth and audit report will be given to us within the next 2 weeks. And then Susan Brown will be presenting in the September board meeting so you can see how well our students have done.
Mr. Lawson, any questions?
No, sir.
Mr. Chris?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yes, sir.
No, sir.
Victor?
Seeing you're doing a great job.
Superintendent update.
Sure. Our kids have been busy this summer, and we may think many of them are at home, but many of them are not. Prior to getting into what our students have been doing, I do want to commend our school board. Our school board was the only school board in the state of North Carolina with every member at the NCSBA core training. It's an ethics training. So to each of you, thank you for being there. I thought the information was extremely valuable, and it said a lot that in our small little county, every one of you took the time to attend. Mr. Don Morell carried students to a HOSA convention in Houston during the month of July. I want to commend Tazaya Cotton and Chelsea Guadarrama because they have earned international awards. They're the first Jones Senior High School students to ever achieve Health and Occupational Science Awards at the international level. We've recently found out in the last few weeks, FFA, Caitlin Crompton, will be attending the FFA National Convention in Indianapolis in October. That is a very big deal. We're very, very proud of her. Corinne Rennie, I've spoken to you earlier in the school, or at the end of the school year, how we had a student selected to be a governor's page. Corinne completed her service at the Capitol. She had the most amazing experience, and her father is very, very proud of her, and he should be. The people that she got to meet was a lifetime experience for her. So we're very, very happy for her. Finally, in regard to highlights, I want to compliment Mr. Dan Ryan. He's a Maysville City Commissioner. He has written a grant for the America 250. And what it does, it allows that committee to receive funding to promote the history of Jones County. He has a plan, an initial plan to put up signage throughout the county to represent historical aspects of the county. During the committee meeting, Mr. Charlie Jones gave a presentation that was probably at the intermediate student level. That was the most profound history lesson I've ever heard on Jones County. I've requested that he speak to each of our 5th grade classes, and he's agreed to do so. He's going to give a day to each schoolhouse, and he's going to teach them Jones County history that last week in September. So if you see Mr. Charlie Jones, please tell him thank you. He is not being compensated. As we look ahead, this is, we do have an eye on a storm, and, we'll hopefully be in favor of being just fine. But our teachers are scheduled to return this Thursday, August 8th. That's for optional teacher work days this Thursday and Friday. Our convocation, which each of you are invited to, is August 19th at 8:30 in the Harry Brown Gymnatorium. And
Free food?
yes, sir.
Make that one.
Breakfast. Our open house at each of our school sites is on August 22nd. Each site has a little bit of a varying time, but that's right around the corner as well. So parents at home, this is just another reminder. Just make sure your children are prepared, and we really request that you and your student attend because it's significant that they meet their teacher prior to the first day of school. First day of school is August 26th, which is 3 weeks from today. So kiddos, be prepared, parents be prepared, and hopefully our teachers are very, very prepared as well.
Are you ready?
Do you have any questions or concerns?
Mr. Walton,
No, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Griffin.
No.
Mr. Bird.
No questions.
It's gonna be busy.
We'll go into the item F that we amended the agenda for high school times. Which way we want to take lead on that?
I've been receiving some phone calls and questions as to if we're gonna continue the high school time that was changed last year, or if it would return back to normal. I know we had talked about it before school, put out, we were talking about doing a survey. But what came to mind was the students missed a lot of instructional time because of athletics, because of coming in later. So they were there longer, so they missed more time. They missed that fourth period class. So if they're gonna be in athletics, then it might be something we need to consider before school starts. And I've had a lot of people asking about that.
So, Mr. Marquis, if I may, I'll take this one. It's my understanding when I came on board and started to get acclimated that the bell schedule for the high school was changed. This was the first year that it had been changed. That decision was made by administration at the school, but the community nor parents were surveyed for their input in that. And we discussed at one of the other meetings about doing a survey, as you referenced, and getting community and parent input into the bell schedule. The issue we ran into this summer is administration was leaving. We're in the process of hiring new administration. And so it came to me, the counselors came to me and said, what's the bell schedule gonna be? And my answer was the bell schedule is gonna remain the same because we haven't surveyed parents in the community. We've not done due diligence in regards to that. And at that point, we needed to complete the master schedule and to begin scheduling children. So, and with Ms. Reese coming on board, now we can have the conversation again about revisiting the bell schedule. We can survey parents in the community, and we can do our due diligence and do it properly, and be able to have their input, then vote on whether the bell schedule changes for the next year, which would give us plenty of time. Then we would have 2 counselors on board, a principal, an assistant principal, and all the players at the table to make those changes necessary.
Okay.
So that's where we are in relation to the bell schedule. It has to stay the same at this point because children have already been scheduled in their classes. And, those parents that have contacted you or any other board member in regards to the bell schedule, tell them to be looking for the survey. I'm not going to tell you when it's coming because I don't know yet until we have that conversation. But be looking on Drillshare, looking through different through social media for their input for that survey, and be ready to give their 2 cents worth, so that we can have as much input as possible before we make any changes if necessary.
Sounds good.
We're looking at going ahead with this maybe sooner than later, right? I mean, because we're gonna get questioned, or we're gonna go the whole year like this. Obviously, you're working on it, but I want to be able to tell people that we're working on it.
I would love to give you a timeline, but
Okay.
I can tell you.
I understand.
No, at best, I would tell you that we're gonna get the school year started and get everybody settled in. Then we can have the conversation about when do we want to send this survey out. Time is of the essence. Obviously, nothing's gonna change until the summer. So whether we send a survey in October or November, or we wait till March. But we really need to probably wait, at the latest, do this survey by January. Because they start to build the master schedule soon after second semester starts. So we need to have that decision made so that they can start to build the master schedule and get everything lined up.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
So basically, so that everybody understands correctly, we're locked in for it for 1 more year.
That's
One
correct.
more school year, but it'll be addressed and surveyed, and maybe next school year, 25-26.
So-
Certainly willing to entertain a change in the bell schedule.
Okay.
There's a lot of moving parts that parents and community have to understand. It doesn't just affect the high school classes and coursework. It also affects the elementary school, transportation. There's all those different moving parts that we have to take into consideration when we look at bell schedule changes.
So I just learned something. So we are talking about the whole year probably until we get. I'm not pushing you. I'm just saying.
Sure.
But we are talking about the entire year for this year.
This year will remain just like it was last year. We will
Because
run the same bell schedule this school year.
This conversation's happening a lot with us, and I mean as late as 3 days ago for me.
Sure.
But thank you, Lynn. Thank you.
And
for
they're welcome to
clarifying.
call me. If they
No, we're
No,
okay. We just everybody's cousin.
Well, they need to call, if they have questions, concerns, they need to contact me, and I'll be glad to have a conversation with them about it. They need to bring their concerns to me,
All right, thank
and
you.
we'll go from there. Yes, sir. It affects, thank you, Ms. Morgan. It affects child nutrition as
It
well.
affects us as well.
Yeah.
Especially breakfast coffee.
Yeah. So all those moving parts come into play. Any other questions?
Mr. Griffin?
No.
Mr. Young?
Yeah.
All right, action item A.
Okay. Title IX. Mr. Chairman and members of the board, I'm going to refer to our board attorney, Ms. O'Keefe, who is gracious enough to join us tonight, and let her give you her input as our legal counsel with regards to this policy in particular. And then we will have some further discussion.
So as y'all, I'm sure know, the U.S. Department of Education promulgated new rules governing Title IX in April of this year. The School Boards Association followed its traditional work that it does really helpfully for school systems whenever the law is updated, whether it's a statute or regulation comes from the federal government or the state government. And the North Carolina School Boards Association issued recommended revisions to 3 main board policies, 1720, 1725, and 4036, to align with the new regulations under Title IX. However, given that those new policies were issued quite recently, some boards like yours are in the position of not having had an opportunity to have 1 or 2 meetings to think the policy changes over, to run things through a policy committee, to give senior leadership an opportunity to review all the changes and weigh in. So based on my conversation with your superintendent and Mr. Whittington, those 2 folks and I support kind of this interim measure where essentially the board would today authorize the superintendent and district leadership to implement these guidance policies promulgated by the North Carolina School Boards Association on an interim basis to Title IX complaints that come up before taking final action on modifying your policies and procedures. It would give the board more time to digest all these changes, run them through policy committee or the typical process if that's your preference, but also provide some guidance to your administrators, to students and employees about kind of what playbook you would be operating off of during this interim period.
Lawson, any questions?
No, sir.
Any questions, bro? Anything you need to add?
So in essence, this is really a first reading
Yeah.
of this policy, and then we will take action at a later time.
And what is included in the handout that Mr. Whittington provided is language you might use in a motion if you want to approve this kind of interim pattern, whereby you effectively, someone would read out the language right under recommended action verbatim. You'd be authorizing your Title IX coordinator to work with the superintendent to follow these model policies in the meantime, while you're in the process of vetting them, reviewing them more closely to see if there are any impacts on your other policy development, and to ensure compliance with Title IX as governing law during an admittedly challenging time where there's lots of pending litigation.
I'll make that into a motion if you want me to.
No. This is first reading though, right?
So it's first reading, you wouldn't be adopting these policies, they wouldn't be posted as policies adopted by the board. What you would post and make available are these draft policies by the School Boards Association, and you'd be effectively authorizing your administration to.
Yeah, that's what I'm making a motion, is to authorize the interim thing until we decide to adopt the full policy. In short words.
I want the long one. I need the long words. Gosh. Got a motion?
I'll second.
Look over here a minute.
Got a second?
I'll second.
Which one? You, who second?
That ain't no one. She can, I second it, yeah, she can have whatever one, don't matter.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried.
And if it pleases the board and the board chair, we'll ensure that the minutes capture the full language in the privacy that was provided to board members.
Please.
Thank you.
Action item B. Yeah, assessment policy.
Okay, so, in your packet, your PLS updates, there's an update to policy 1510, 4200, and 7270 school safety. What I can tell you in relation to these policy updates is, we do have threat assessment teams in place in our schools. And we also, have all the corresponding documentation on file. And Mr. Will Sutton is our school safety, person for our district, our contact coordinator. And he has, been in contact with each school and their threat assessment teams and made sure that all of our documentation is up to date.
Mr. Lawson, any question?
No, sir, thank you.
Mr. Griffin?
No.
Mr. Young? Ms. Bird?
No questions.
Do we need to adopt this formally?
Yes, you would take action.
I'll make a motion to adopt it formally.
A motion? Got a second? All in favor? Any opposed? Budget number one.
At the June 3rd meeting, the board approved the budget resolution for fiscal year 2025. Since that approval has been granted, we only have a small adjustment to our local funding since we have received the final approved budget from the county. And that adjustment increased our local funding by $136,544. So right now, that's the only adjustment that I'm requesting that the board review and approve for fiscal year 2025.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Action item D, child nutrition.
Good afternoon, everyone. Child Nutrition is just asking for approval for a rollover for Mayola, RNH, and Hershey. We also have, are asking for approval for accepting a new bid for Cisco. So we had to do a new bid for Cisco. But the rest are still rollovers for the previous years.
How long do we normally go with the rollover bids? Until we get a new,
Well, normally it's 3 to 4 years. I think Mayola, Hershey, and RNH are on their 3rd year, so we'll probably be doing a new one maybe next year. Cisco wanted to do a new one this year. We just did a new Cisco about 2 years ago, but they're wanting to do a new one because of the increase in prices. Not only that, they wanted to do a new fee for delivery increase this year as well, so.
Are we in a coalition with the other counties around?
We are in a
So we're kind of locked into where we can't really do a whole lot of.
Exactly.
But
We have 3 other counties, so it's 4 of us together. So, and then this, the one down here where Cisco, when your bid is just hours, I broke it down. This is for us, just for Jones County.
Mr. Watson, any question?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Griffin?
No.
Mr. Young?
No.
Ms. Bird? Need a motion?
I'll make a motion to adopt the budget for whatever it is. The rollover bid, plus the other thing.
A rollover and an approval.
Yeah.
Second.
And a thingamabob.
I hate not to turn the page.
Got a motion and a
So
second.
serious.
I know. Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Thank you.
Any opposed?
Negative.
Public comment.
No one signed up, Mr. Chairman.
To the road.
Board member comment, Mr. Walsh.
You know, a lot of people predict with the negative, but I'm getting some pretty good positive feedback from just the amount of concern that is being put into the community by us. Coach Perry, Mr. Markey, all of you. I think we're in a sort of we're proving ourselves all over again. I won't say a rebuild. I don't think things are that serious, but I think we are regaining a little bit of public trust that might have been lost through a couple of years. But I think leadership's in place. I like the way the board is really working together. Just a lot of fresh ideas, and seems like with Ms. Reese coming on, just a lot of energy, and we just got to keep it up. Don't let it fail. Classroom's the main reason we're here. I mean, everything else is pretty and shiny, but academics is what we're here. I coached for a long time, and I used to stress that we built the building before we built the field. Class before grass, as we used to say. And that can happen. If you really want to see people over excel, you start telling them how good they are. So I think we're starting to do that. It's a real positive mindset that's getting back to me from the public. And, as I joke about it, but we're all cousins here. And it comes back. And I'm glad it does. Well, that way we make it better. Let's not be scared of improvement or a little bit of criticism. I mean, that's how you coach. That's how you live. You bounce a couple of checks. It don't take you long. And I've never done that, but I've heard that, that's not a good experience to get into. I never had enough money to have a checking account, but anyway, until recently, thank you for everything, everybody. We got a really good attitude going on. I want to thank Miss Moore for being here. I'm not trying to complain against anybody, but that's another area that we're more upbeat about. And I've asked Bryce to play a company song every morning. I'm still working on him about that. But I hadn't sold him on Twisting the Night Away when everybody comes in the building every morning, but we're working on it.
So we cut to it. That's
Sam Cook,
baby.
He'll get you moving. Appreciate it, everybody.
Mr. Griffin.
I guess I want to thank the board for going to Raleigh in July. I saw it did a world of good, even though I've heard it several hundred times. I feel like I'm glad our top administrators went as well as the board system, because that gives them some idea of what we can and cannot do, and I think it'll help us all work together a whole lot better. I want to thank Mr. Perry. I see a lot of input in the community through the social media stuff about how the football program seems to be turning around, even though we don't have a lot of participants. And now it just seems like it's a different atmosphere for some reason. I'm hoping that everybody's coming on board is going to work together. I feel like they are. I feel like we got good people in here, and some to come. Other than that, that's all.
Thank you. Ms. Bill.
I'd just like to thank all the personnel that's worked so hard in preparing for us a new year, a fresh start. And there's just a lot of positive feedback that's going on. And it seems good.
Ms. Bird.
Well, just to piggyback off of everyone else, the entire board and everyone that went to this core training, it was great. It's good to kind of get out and instead of just sitting here in this meeting, and you learn together and break bread together. It makes a difference in how you work together. I'm really excited about this coming year. I think that we're heading directly toward unity again. We have had a break in our unity, and I feel like that is certainly coming together. And our board going to this core training shows unity within us. And I'm really proud of that. And everyone on this board is working together to make sure that we can move in the right direction. I'm proud of Bryce and Wynn and everyone. That's it's positive. It's nice to start out in a positive way. I'm super excited to have Miss O'Keefe here. So thank you to whomever allowed her to come. I think Billy had a little to do with it, but anyways, and Coach Perry, congratulations on the new baby. And in the middle of a knee problem and having a baby, he has managed to continue working through the summer and coaching and bringing this whole community together. And I feel like Miss Pammy Reese will do the same thing. I also want to thank everyone who contributed to the fellow Christian athletes that were able to attend camp over the summer. I had just happened to run into the ones, and they called me and they said, hey, there's 2 spots that came open, what can we do? And all I did was make a Facebook post there, and boom, in just a couple hours, those 2 kids were going to camp. So, I mean, it was just awesome. And even the outpour that has come in since then to want to share. So that's something that Coach Perry will be using as well. I just feel like we're moving in the right direction, and I appreciate it. Even with our county commissioners, we have unity. There's meetings going on and combining everyone together, and that's what we want. And I appreciate it. And let's go into this next year positive. That's all I have.
Thank you. One thing I have is attended a joint county meeting. Superintendent and assistant superintendent also attended. Other board members were represented throughout the county. If you can watch Kyle, he's been trying to bring the community together. He's doing an awesome job with that. There was one request from him that the school board will show up as we're trying to sever those relationships as well. So if you got time to come to the next meeting, please try to attend, because there wasn't no school board members there. So I have, we're now going to closed session. Thank you.
Somebody, what was that? I mean, what organization, who is that?
The county, joint county meeting.
Did you go get your CDL?